Salutations, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland. This video is about the putative new political party in the United Kingdom, Sir Vince Cable. He's been leader of the Liberal Democrats for a year now, redolent of Andrew Bonar-Law, the unknown Prime Minister. Well, he's the unknown political leader, almost invisible, and he missed a vote on Brexit. And this is an issue very close to Liberal Democrat hearts. The Liberals, who predated the Liberal Democrats, were Europhiles long before it was fashionable. Why on earth did Sir Vincent miss the vote? Well, it has emerged that he was in a meeting with some Labour MPs with a view to founding a new anti-Brexit political party. This is an exciting development, and there have been people who've been talking about this for a couple of years since the United Kingdom voted to regain her independence. So Lib Dems may join. Would all of them join? Possibly not. Now, the Liberal Democratic parliamentary party is only big enough to form a football team with a couple of reserves. But the party as a whole has got tens of thousands of members around the country, people in the Welsh Assembly, Scottish Assembly, London Assembly, blah, blah, blah. Not all their politicians would go with them. They're hoping to win over some Labour moderates. Now, Labour moderates tend to be Europhiles. The ones who are Eurosceptics tend to be hardline socialists. Of course, it's not that clear-cut because a high majority of Labour MPs voted Remain. But some of them are decent Remain people say, all right, we lost, we accept the will of the people, and we will implement Brexit. Soft Brexit is what they favour. But there are some people who are moderate on whatever social issues or economic issues, but fanatical when it comes to the European Union, will strive might and main to come up with any plan, a stealth plan to keep the UK in the European Union, a second referendum, whatever it is, a Brexit which is nominal, if needs be. So anyway, will this new party be founded? I have my doubts. Now, they would like probably to appeal to some conservatives who are extreme Remainers. Perhaps the most vociferous of these is Anna Soubry. But then again, she voted for the European Union Withdrawal Act. So she doesn't really seem to make her mind up there. She's got no consistency on the issue, despite saying, oh, I demand there be a second vote on whatever deal is proposed by the European Union. So this new political party would be a fascinating development were it to come to pass. And it makes me cast my mind back to 1981, the Limehouse Declaration, when a faction within the Labour Party was deeply unhappy with the direction the party was taking under Michael Foot, its far-left leader. And they made their declaration at Limehouse, where Clement Attlee had been instrumental in the Labour Party in its infancy. That's Limehouse in East London, called the Slimehouse Declaration by some Labour loyalists. So would we be seeing something similar? And a tenth of the Labour parliamentary party broke away to form the Social Democratic Party. They won over one Conservative MP. And they've obviously got tens of thousands of people around the country to join them. Often they were political cleanskins, as in people who had not belonged to any political party previously. So, telling the story of the 1980s briefly, there was a Social Democratic Party, but they occupied much of the same political ground as the Liberal Party. And the Liberal Party and the SDP put their heads together saying, well, this is crazy. We can't be fighting over this same turf. So let's cooperate. We'll form an alliance. So they went into the 1983 election as a Social Democratic Party Liberal Alliance. SDP Liberal Alliance is quite a mouthful. Sometimes just the alliance. The SDP had a leader and the Liberals had a leader. Which one was going to be Prime Minister? Well, it was going to be Dr. David Owen, the SDP leader, they said, if they won. But we'll leave that aside for a moment. Labour, of course, was doing very badly in the early 80s, and it's curious how history repeats itself. I think Hegel's the one who first made that observation. Labour's manifesto in 1983 was described by the veteran Labour MP Gerald Kaufman as the longest suicide note in history. Fascinatingly, it proposed that the United Kingdom withdraw from the European Economic Community, the EEC, which was a precursor of the European Union we have now. That's Gerald Kaufman, the father of the House in the end, as in the longest-serving Member of Parliament, just died a couple of years ago. So I think if this new party were to be founded, what would it have? What name would it have? Something like Progressive Democrats? Reminds me of the Irish Party, which dissolved about 10 years ago. And perhaps they might get a couple of Tories to join. So it would be a Euro-fanatic party that would demand a second referendum. Would they even accept the outcome of that if it didn't go their way? It's dubious. So Sir Vince Cable has been almost invisible as a political party leader. He's got no traction. He's 75. Not that being a septuagenarian is necessarily a problem. We're a greying society. He's best known for his one bon mot of about 10 years back, when he said that the Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, had gone from being Stalin to Mr. Bean. And this epithet haunted Brown for the rest of his ill-starred premiership. So Sir Vince Cable has been inept and has really not connected with the public. He may be probably pressured to stand down sooner rather than later. Was it more urgent to have this political meeting rather than to vote against Brexit, especially if that is his core belief, remaining within the European Union? He could have scheduled this meeting with other parliamentarians for a different time. So it's worth remembering that being a hyper-European nationalist is a very good way to come last. The Liberal Democrats did very badly in the 2015 election, did even worse in 2017. Yes, they got back a couple of constituencies, but they actually did worse in share of the vote. So if this new party were to get off the ground, as I say, it would take away some of the more middle-of-the-road Labour MPs and possibly absorb the Liberal Democrats. Maybe not all the Lib Dems, but it would probably help the Conservatives by splitting the left-wing or progressive vote. I think very few Tories would join it. And it would enfeeble the anti-Brexit cause, I suppose. Labour would be even more under Corbyn's control. So the Labour in that sense would be more united, and an attempt to defenestrate Corbyn would be more likely to fail than it is now. I don't see any attempt at a coup within the Labour Party right now, since Labour are about 5% ahead in the opinion polls. Now, coming into midterm, they would be, by rights, and moreover, Theresa May has been Prime Minister for about 2 years. That's another thing. But Corbyn's been leader of the opposition for that time, so not really looking good for him either. People will get bored of him by the time of the next Westminster election. The thing is, these new parties, they tend to shrivel up and die. The only one that's bucked the trend is UKIP. UKIP, which is still going, can't say going strong after 26 years, has had a slight fillip in the opinion polls because people fear that this Brexit might be Brexit in name only. And some people say we demand a proper Brexit. As I say, I think UKIP doesn't have a future, and it's going to wind up in about a year's time. I say this as someone who had a great deal of sympathy for UKIP, would like to see a UKIP government. But yes, I was put off by the unpalatable remarks of many of its members, and Farage has just really gone off the rails, praising Trump and things like that. So if this new political party is founded, I suspect its death knell would be sounded in only a couple of years. But there are no significant moves that this party is actually going to be established. It might be yet another reason to kick out Sir Vincent Cable. And people said that Vince Cable was just going to hold the fort till a couple of years into this parliament, then be replaced by a younger leader, by their only woman who's a member of parliament. So I think he may actually be advancing the date of his retirement as leader of that party, because he's got many issues he could speak out on. Labour's got a leader who is not respected by the general public. Theresa May is in her travails, so it should present a golden opportunity for the Liberal Democrats to really gain ground, and it's not happening. They've been in the doldrums since 2010. They're no longer tarred with the unpopularity of being in coalition with the Tories as they were when Nick Clegg was the Liberal Democrat head honcho. And the tricky thing for the Lib Dems, they have to decide the next election. The Tories may well lose. Labour are probably not going to be able to command a majority in the House of Commons. Will they form a coalition with Labour? Or will they give them confidence and supply? And this will be a real quandary for the Lib Dems, especially as Labour by then are more likely to be definitely Eurosceptic. Brexit will be a done deal. There might be transitioning. The United Kingdom will be formally outside the European Union, but under Theresa May's proposal, there will be a transitional period of a couple of years for the United Kingdom to fully adapt to being outside the EU. So they'll be torn in two different directions. Do they support Labour, who'll be enacting a policy which the Lib Dems are completely against? Do they turn down the chance to serve in government when their duty is to serve the general public? The Liberal Democrats did the right thing in 2010 by serving the people, not just their voters, and then they got absolutely annihilated, losing more than half their voters. So I don't think this new political party is going to happen. I could be wrong, but it probably won't be good for the Liberal Democrats in the long run. They will lose their distinctive brand if they do. Probably a couple of their MPs won't actually join it.